So this Saturday we got Rob Font versus Cody Garbrandt. And I'm be real with y'all. I probably won't even be watching because the greatest fighter of all time, Conor McGregor, isn't going to be there. Nevertheless, though, I will still preview the main card for those that will be watching because I know how valuable my opinion truly is as a hardcore casual fan. Now, look, I'm not going to talk about prelims. I'm not even going to watch the main card to start, so why would I even bother with prelims, right? Everybody knows that nothing eventful ever happens at the prelims. It's just the fact. For starters, we got Jack Hernandez versus Edmund Shabazin, aka the male middleweight Ronda Rousey. This was supposed to happen at UFC 262, but Shostakola here needed to work on his head movements some more and decided to pull out. But now that he has that issue figured out, he's ready to go 1 week later. Let's look at their most recent losses. Hernandez lost to the most angry Italian in existence, and Shamwow lost to Derek, not Lewis Brunson. The opponent that Hernandez lost to is a lot more prestigious considering that he's fighting Adesanya for the title. Whereas Brunson is just kind of there. Shang Tsung here is probably going to win because he's a sorcerer. The male middleweight Ronda will win and eventually get kicked by Holly Holm and retire in the future. Next, we got David Dobrik versus this other guy. I don't know. I think his name's Raul or something. I don't know much about either of them, but I do know that Dobrik here has been in some hot water over some stuff that he did. I don't know much about the situation and I don't really want to get into it much, but I know that being the case, everyone is going to be rooting for this Raul guy, and I am with everyone hoping that David Dobrik gets knocked unconscious. Felicia Spencer versus Norma Dermont Viana is a true battle of icons. Spencer has an amazing resume. Not only has she beaten Megan Anderson, she's also managed to get her ass kicked by not just Chris Cyborg, but Amanda Nunes as well. Norma, on the other hand, can't compete with that. She doesn't even have a Wikipedia page for me to look up stuff about her. I'm rooting for Norma to win so she can finally win the right to a Wikipedia page, but I don't see it happening. This fight will end with Spencer dropping down to 135 after the division is scrapped, and Norma unfortunately will leave empty handed, but I am rooting for her. The featherweight division will be no more. This is unless the greatest featherweight of all time decides to come back and make it great again. That's right, I'm talking about Conor McGregor, my favorite fighter of all time, who is amazing and perfect. Next, we got Justin Taffa, a New Zealander big boy, versus another guy that doesn't have a Wikipedia page. I want the lesser known guy to win, so I'm rooting for Jared, especially because I don't want to see that nasty shoe thing that the other New Zealander does when he wins. Co-main event has Jan Peter versus the Cookie Monster. This is the first fight where I surprisingly have heard of both of the fighters before. One is a tough Russian, and the other is a character on Sesame Street. Both fighters have been on good runs, but each has only amassed measly decision wins, which leaves a lot to be desired. Don't get me wrong, a win is a win, but as a casual fan, I demand that every fight ends in the first 10 seconds of the first round via flying knees or Superman punches. Unfortunately, it will not happen here, and it will be another boring decision. And I am predicting that the Cookie Monster will win because the Cookie Monster is a monster. Finally, the main event, we got Rob Times New Roman is my favorite font versus Cody I love tattoos Garbrandt. Now look, Cody has been getting knocked out ever since he ran into EPO Dillashaw, but recently bounced back with the win against Raphael, which is impressive considering that he's a Ninja Turtle. What's more impressive though is that his opponent Rob Font beat One Punch Man pretty handedly, making him the most powerful being in the universe. But of course, having said that, Cody will win obviously because he has neck tattoos. Like, who even gets neck tattoos? Are you crazy, man? Anyone who's willing to go through that is going to win any fight. There's my in-depth preview for all you hardcore fans out there. I hope you enjoy the card this Saturday. I won't be watching. I am the casual MMA fan, and my opinion is always solid.